So many dressing rooms. We've got some scenarios for you. We want you to ask the gaffer. You've got a big game tonight and the team is doing well, but on the day of the game you've been offered a job at a club in the league above. Your phone is full of missed calls. Gabby, you've had that today, haven't you? What do you do? Do you stay loyal to your young group of players, or do you make the move?
I think it all depends on the situation that you're in. I think sometimes you have to make a move. I mean, you talk about loyalty. I remember early on in my career, similar situation where I could go to Chelsea and I'm at Notts County, 2 promotions. Ooh. Yep, I know. Stayed loyal and got the sack 6 months later. Yeah. So I think sometimes you've got to take the opportunity when they come along, because they don't always come along.
Is it getting worse now? Lack of loyalty in football? Is it worse?
Well, I think when you see what they do to managers, I mean, Tuchel, for example, he wins the Champions League and he's out in 6 months. I don't think there is any loyalty now.
Does the money soften the blow? Thank you very much. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, Sharon used to say to me, why don't you get the sack more? So you get a payoff.
And you track.
I said, because I'm good at my job, darling. You can't have everything.
But there is that, and don't get me wrong, regardless of the money they give you, you're still a bit, it hits you, but then you suddenly think...
The only thing about it is, Alan, when you're at a club and you built the club up and it's young players, they do rely on you. You do feel a bit of loyalty to them. So it's one of them tug jobs, and like you say, you're going to get phone calls from everybody, and then, you just have to decide. I was at the game last night, and they've got a good young squad, he's built a good young squad. I felt a bit sorry for Mark Hudson and Cardiff last night. It was an even game, and then a diabolical decision. James Linnigan, the referee, he sent a player off and booked him give a penalty away. And when you see it, I mean, not in a million years. And I thought, God, I'm glad I'm retired. I'm glad I'm not on the bench tonight when a decision like that. And that changed the whole game. One bad decision changed the whole game, and it was a walkover then. But I think he'll be tossing and turning. A couple of times when I had jobs on offer, I had the Leicester City job and the Portsmouth job on offer, and I knew about it, and I wasn't myself on the touchline. When the games, when it was going on in my mind behind the scenes, I wasn't the same until that was put to bed. I'd let things get above me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But,
do you think? I tell you who's not himself at the moment is Brendan Rodgers at Leicester.
No, Ian, but
he's not been for weeks, has he?
No.
You can tell in his body language, the way he's talking, that he feels let down.
I think he's handled it ever so well. He hasn't been bitter. He hasn't really called them out, the owners. And they've not supported him, really, owners. I think he's done brilliant, in that respect. I think he's been dignified. He must be distraught inside because he had a hell of a side. And now, all of a sudden, he's scrapping around at the bottom end there. And I do feel a bit sorry for him. I mean, in a way, if they did get rid of him, it might be a blessing because you get another good job. And he hasn't got all the hassle of trying to... he's lost some top players, there at Leicester in the last 12 months. You can't keep losing your best players.
What about Steven Gerrard? Do you think Steven, with the squad he has, he's thinking, we're underperforming here. We should be a lot higher than this.
Yeah, I mean, I watch Coutinho now, and I think, I know he wouldn't probably sign for Villa if Stephen hadn't been there. But I look at the way they are at times, and I think with Frank as well at Everton, young managers sometimes, especially when you've played at the top level and been as successful as them too, not many's been better in a playing side. And it's hard when you've not had any disappointment. Sometimes it's hard to digest what happens in football because people that haven't got anywhere near your ability cause you problems, and you almost begrudge it and you want to sort it, but sometimes you don't know what to do because you haven't got the experience.
Especially with the finishing as well. I mean, Lampard and Gerrard scored goals for fun, didn't they? Villa can't score. They can't put away their chances against Chelsea. I bet Gerrard probably has to hold in that frustration to put it in the net.
You stood there on the bench, and if you miss chances like they did, I thought that's the first plus for weeks. I think for Villa, the Chelsea performance. I thought that was excellent, really. Definitely. So, but this now, you play against Chelsea, you have to lift your game. You're going to Fulham now, Alan. It's like I used to say when I were at Sheffield, these lads are coming up from London tonight. Let's sort them out. You know, they're not gonna. They don't want to be in Sheffield tonight. It's going to be raining. The bloody sun. You know, the sun's gone in. It's windy. Let's bloody sort these Southerners out. And that's what I used to say to Sheffield lads.
They had a bad result the other night, didn't the Sheffield United?
Yeah, 87 minute pound. They've just hit a bit of a bad spot. They've had a lot of injuries, but he's done a good job. But they've got to get back onto getting some points now. It's so wide open, that league, you know. Anybody can go up this year.
Second scenario, the manager in the opposite dugout is out of his technical area every 5 seconds. I'm not having to go to Arsenal here. Berating the officials, and has caused a bit of a stir in the pre-match comments ahead of a big game. Neil, what'd you do? Did you confront him, say, get back in your box? Or do you just chip away at the fourth official? Hey, sort him out, will you?
Well, I mean, I look at the way Pep and Jurgen go out, you know, went about the other day. If that would have been me, Alan, I'd have got 3 months ban, me. They'd have thrown the book at me. You know, I think they get away with murder, the top managers, but the rules are rules. I mean, you can't be running down the touchline, can you, in a Premiership game? So it's. You know, for me, I would have a quiet word, but I'm not saying that would help. But I think, you know, you've got to calm down like them. I don't mean shouting. I mean that's fine. But running out the technical area, that's what it's there for.
Conte, he's another one, isn't he? Conte, he's all over the place on that touchline.
I love him, mate. I mean, I'd rather watch Conte than Tottenham.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Simeone's another one, isn't he? He's another one. He goes mental on the touchline.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.